Hello and welcome to the Just for Gamers video game podcast.
Hello there.
Episode 196. It's a real strong package. In this week's episode, we win again.
Yeah, gamer buying games.
JfG Ash is back hitmanning. JfG Alex can't get enough of Celeste.
I can't get enough of Celeste.
There's news on digital sales being on the up and up. And finally, slightly mad are actually mad.
Insania by Peter Rodrick. Hello and welcome to the JfG podcast. This is episode 196. My name is Alex, and I'm joined as ever by my very good friend Ash. Hey, buddy. How you doing there?
Hey, buddy. As always, feeling good on a Wednesday. Yeah, sparkling thoughts. They give me the hope.
Give me the hope to go on.
To go on, which is always nice. Yeah, buddy, I am good. Not a lot this week. Just lazy weekend, some would say.
That's what it's all about.
No, it's never really lazy when you have kids, though. They always want to do stuff like go to the park or something like that. I don't know.
Nah, you fucked that. I didn't go to any park.
What? You didn't go to a park?
Not one park at any point.
I just don't understand what's a weekend without going to a park?
It's true.
What is that?
Fucked it completely.
I just don't know.
Yeah. Don't know.
What? I mean, apart from that, I've spent a lot of time in this room, which has been I've enjoyed it. Obviously, apart from work, but we don't talk about that. And yeah, I've been getting everything set up for streaming and being live on the internet, which we are right now, buddy. Obviously, if you didn't know, yeah, we stream this live on a Wednesday on your favourite platforms or not. You know, it's your choice. But yeah, we're there.
Yeah,
we're there every
you got
Wednesday.
your pick of the bunch. You got the ChewTube.
Yeah.
We're on the ChewTube. Twitch.tv. We're on Twitch.tv. And also Mixer.com, aka Beam.fucking.pro. We're on there as well.
We are.
You can find all the links if you can't be bothered to go to those respective websites and just type our name in the JFG podcast, which is understandable. Then you could just type that very same name into your address bar, www.thejfgpodcast.co.uk, and then you can click the links. It's kind of like the same amount of work, but in a different order. But you might feel better about it. It's up to you, really.
That's true, and it gets us people on our website, which I don't know why you'd go there, but you know you can.
You can.
It's a thing, right?
Fucking, I wouldn't, but you can. Fucking fill your boots.
I've managed to get that all up and working now. Kind of. It's taken quite a few hours to get it all in sync. Last night I think I spent about 3 hours working it out properly. We're now streaming at fucking 500 kilobits or kilobytes a second instead of whatever everyone recommended at like 2,500. We're like, we can bump it up because I've got stupid internet and it'll be fine. We're not going to drop any frames. Like, the only thing that will let me down is my computer probably when it crashes at some point, which is always good.
Well, that's something we can all look forward to.
Yeah, so I got it up and running and I've streamed about 3.5 hours of Hitman. Hitman 2, buddy. We got that game. We won the game of buying games again.
We certainly did, buddy, and we thought that thing might drop into a sale, but it was kind of proving very popular, so there's always the kind of worry that it isn't gonna, but second half of the PlayStation January sale, that January sale that started on the 18th of December, and in pops Hitman, £28, and of course we snap all that shit up straight away, buddies.
Definitely, and I'm so glad that we have. Because, well,
fucking right.
We'll talk about it later. But yeah, if you want to see me fucking about in Hitman 2, it's on our YouTube channel now. I've just fucking saved the streams and put them on there. I mean, the second stream, you might want to skip about 20 minutes in front until I get it in sync. That was fun. But yeah, I don't know. There was just all kinds of weird latency shit. Like, So OBS has the ability to record like what's on your fucking what you've got set up as your scene. And I was like, I recorded it and I was like, right, cool, everything's in sync, brilliant, fantastic. So I'm like, go live, and it's just all over the fucking place. I'm like, what's that all about? Looking on forums, looking on all kinds of things. I'm just like, fuck it. The only way I'm going to do this, I'm just going to load up YouTube, watch it on my phone, and press buttons on my controller and make weird sounds with my mouth so I can sing it all up. It was loads of fun. But I think I've got there. Like, for some reason, the audio from the PS4 is coming in like 1.2 seconds before the game audio. Not the game,
That's
the
very
game,
strange.
the video. So that, and I'm like, what is this? Like, it's all going into the same capture card. I just don't know. Maybe because I've got like all the settings up to the top, it's like taking longer to encode the video or something. But I feel like I've got it now, buddy. I'm not going to fuck about with any of the settings now. Like, I'm using this as kind of a test to see if we do drop any frames. But so far, so good. 9 minutes in, 0 frame drops. Always a good one.
Of course, the biggest, scariest danger of the YouTuber or live streamer is when the latency isn't consistent between sessions.
Yes.
That's the scary
and that's
thing.
The thing. So, like, this could be completely out of sync for all I know. And
well, we'll see, buddy. We'll see.
At the end of the day, fuck it. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, good to hear.
Yeah. This has begged the question, though. Do I need a new graphics card in my PC if I'm going to be doing this? And I don't know. Like, a lot of people have been saying, yeah, you do need a graphics card for doing streaming, even if you're not using, like, if you're not streaming straight from your PC, like playing games on your PC. But it seems to be all right. I mean,
that's the thing, isn't it? It's where's that bottleneck? Is it missing a GPU that would make a big difference, or would it make fuck all difference?
Well, I've got everything to set up so everything gets encoded through the CPU because I'm using like software accelerated stuff. I'm not using any like GPU encoding. So,
and you've got a solid processor in that thing as well. So yeah, certainly for what you're doing, it should be fine.
It's about 7 years old now, but it's still fucking awesome. Does the job.
Yeah, but it's not having to render the images, is it? As well,
no, exactly. No.
If you're streaming PC games, then yeah, you'd be in a spot of bother. But obviously, you wouldn't be doing that anyway on that PC without a graphics card in there.
Gibbons, buddy. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to be keeping up the Hitman streams, I think.
Tech Corner.
Yeah, Tech Corner here. You're welcome. Troubleshoot your ideas this way. We won't answer them.
No.
We'll tell you to Google it.
Yeah, Google it.
Yeah. And then,
get on that.
Apart from playing a lot of Hitman, I did a cracking roast pork on Sunday with redonkulous crackling. It was, I'd say, the best I've ever done.
Salted pork in the fridge beforehand, buddy?
Great tip.
Great tip.
You got to dry that shit out just before, and then, yeah.
How long for, buddy? How long for that?
I put it in the night before, salt it, put it in the fridge, dry it out.
Exposed, not covered at all.
And then you want to take it out, like, an hour before, so it gets up, or maybe probably a bit before that even, get it up to room temp.
Gibbon, crucially important when cooking cheeky meats.
Exactly, and then bang it in the oven. You can either go hot early doors and then cool it off, but I switched it up this time. I was like, keep it at a cool like 180, for an hour, and then half an hour, boom, 200. Get that shit crispy.
Cook's Corner.
You're welcome. So there you go, buddy. That's pretty much my week of Hitman and cooking pork. It's been a great week.
Sounds chirky.
It has been, buddy. How's your week been?
It's been all right. Yeah. Hello. Bits and bobs. Had a good old time at the pub on Thursday night, buddy. Liverpool Man City, of course. Went down to Cassidy's with friend of the podcast, Paul. That was unfortunate result, but a good night. Great atmosphere. It's the busiest I've ever seen that place.
It was a good game of football. I enjoyed watching it.
It was very good. And we've really laid the groundwork in Cassidy's now because the preferential treatment we get is frankly despicable. And I thought I was going to get into a bit of a rumble at one point because we just know like all of the staff in there now, and we just get served like before anyone else, even if they've been queuing for fucking ages at the bar.
Well, so fuck those guys.
At one point, yeah, Gibbons. At one point in the second half, I went down to get some more pints. It's 4 deep at the bar, and as I walk up, the barman like goes past and just holds his hand up with just 2. It was like, yeah, just nodded my head. We didn't even exchange words.
2 thumbs up as well. Like,
yeah.
2.
He just poured 2 pints of Op House, and I edged over to the side and tapped my card and fucked off. And there's like 3 dudes in front of me, which is like, what the fuck just happened?
Who is this guy?
Yeah, Gibbons, fucking funny. But you know, we put the busy work in throughout the course of the last year or so, and we're reaping all the benefits, buddy. So I think it's fair game. They want to get their asses down there more often and be polite and friendly to the bar staff.
Well, that's it. That's how you get shit done, really.
Gibbons, it's important. So yeah, that was fun. What else? Turkey game night, of course, after that. Cheeky game night. And then Saturday I became technology boy.
Techno.
It's a fun joke to play on your parents as they get older. Everyone buys their parents more and more technology that they have no idea how to set up or use. And that was the case once again this year with the missus's mum. She was bought like a telly and a phone and a printer, and she wanted like some stuff moved from one room to another. So I set up like 2 TVs, a Chromecast, a Now TV box, a printer, and like a smartphone. And we were up there like all day, and she rewarded us with this like amazing fucking like cold food buffet with all different types of like fish and some different chicken and stuff. It was proper buddy.
Nice,
proper
buddy.
Weekend. Sunday was a proper Sunday. We went for a woodland walk because we live in Tunbridge Wells, and it's kind of non-negotiable on a Sunday.
Mandatory.
Go out. Yeah, see all the people walking their dash hounds and going hello like that as you walk past, which is kind of hard to get used to because why the fuck would you make eye contact with any cunt? And then up to the Beacon, which is one of the nicest pubs in town, to have a cheeky sit-down roast there. It was fucking cool. There was a wonderful moment when we ordered our 2 roasts, and then we ordered sides of roast potatoes with like rosemary and shit, and also some carrots. And she took our order and fucked off, and then she came back. She was like, just to let you know, the roasts do come with
vegetables,
roast potatoes and carrots. And I was like, yeah, no, we're just like really fucking greedy. And she just stood there like, what? Okay,
that's fine.
Okay, it's great up there. Like, there's amazing views of the town. They got Curious Brew flowing on tap, buddy. It's
nice.
You don't need anything else. And of course, you've walked up through the woods to get there, so you can walk it off on the way home. Popped down the old Pantiles, couple more brews, and that was the weekend done. So yeah, it's fucking cool. Just a bit of Hitman 2 to round things off. Been playing a few other bits and pieces this week. Looking forward to talking about them. The topic, of course, this week is video games, buddy. But before we get into that, I should probably ask the all-important question. What are you drinking this evening?
I still got 2 Shipyard left, so I thought I'd polish them off this evening. And if they go, I'll have to nip off and go get a G&T just to finish off.
That seems reasonable.
I mean, it just makes sense to me, really.
Did you get any gin for Christmas?
I bought some. Does that count?
Yes, it does.
There you
go. It certainly does. You got it one way or another. So fair play. We were bought 2 types of gin for Christmas. We got some spiced gin from a friend of the podcast, Paul.
Nice.
And then my folks got us some Bombay Sapphire, buddy. So nice. I'll probably be joining you on the gin later on in proceedings.
Nice, buddy. So what?
Rude not to.
Obviously. What are you drinking then this evening, buddy?
At the moment, I'm on the Stella Artois. It's a Belgian beer from Belgium, anno 1366, buddy. It's got pedigree. Pedigree in GBH and abuse in the home, but pedigree nonetheless.
Definitely.
And I like this beer. Of all the shit beers, this is the only one really that I'm like, yeah, I actually quite like this beer, even though it's toilet.
It'll do.
It's the only beer that I still drink that I started drinking when I was like 18. Like everything else is fucking gone. I'm drinking nice ales and stuff when I go out. It's the only one that's kind of stood the test of time.
Yeah, talking about nice ales. JJ popped in the Discord this week, posting a picture of some brew dogs that he picked up.
Yeah, hard to source apparently over in...
and not cheap at all.
No, I'd imagine they're not very cheap over here, to be honest. True. But he's put the time in. I'm looking forward to hearing what he thinks about those.
Yeah, extensive review, please.
Yep, very much so. We'll do a whole section if you're willing to do a write-up. We'll read the whole fucking thing. It's an integral part of the show, buddy, the drinking section.
It's the main part of the show for me.
Drinks corner,
yeah.
There you go.
Barista,
so we've covered food, we've covered drink, we've covered technology, buddy, and now it's probably time to cover some video games. So I think it's maybe time to go and talk about what we've been playing.
Let's do it. I'm there.
So, I'm looking at the pod notes and can't help but notice that there's a large white space underneath your name. And does that mean you've only been playing Hitman this week, or have you got any other bits and bobs to mention?
Just Hitman.
Fair play.
Well, I don't need to play anything else now that I've got that for a while. I think some would think that I would play Divinity. I think, we played it. Actually, no, we played that after the podcast last Wednesday, didn't we?
We did. We've put a sort of hour or so into that. I think you played it for a little bit longer, didn't you?
No, we were up to the exact same point where I got to. So I think that was quite cool. You needed to experience that first tutorial bit just to get your head around the game.
It's really good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to chucking in some hours with you, buddy, in that. We need to organise mandatory Divinity night, I think.
I think so, absolutely. Yeah, it's... we picked it up a little while ago. Neither of us had tucked into it yet, and it's a cracking game. We knew it was going to be good. Funk was singing its praises before he went off on his travels, and it just looks like it's really polished, really in depth. And it's got a hell of a sense of humour about it as well.
I do like the voice acting. It is funny.
It's great. Yeah, it's very good. And loads of scripts and loads of adventures to have, I'm sure. It's kind of isometric top-down, looks sort of Diablo-y in the way it's presented, but you can kind of swing the camera around and zoom quite far. And then, of course, in combat scenarios, it goes turn-based, and you've got almost like a Dota-esque line of powers at the bottom that charge, sort of RPG sort of style thing. I suppose MMO kind of thing, really. And,
in a way.
Just looks like you can spec your character in really interesting ways. It's diverse in terms of the sort of storytelling and the locations, and it's a lot of game, I hear, as well, like 100 hours or something. So I money's worth.
I went as an undead, I think, human in our game, and made the mistake of taking my hood off in quite a crowded area. They didn't like it, seeing, a skull. And, big old fight kicked off, didn't it, buddy? That was fun.
It did all kick off. It involved many moments. One where I threw a firebomb and set fire to everyone, us included. Yeah. You responded, of course, by playing dead.
I played that, and then a couple of turns later, I got up and went to bed.
Yep, and I ran into a cupboard.
Yeah.
So I think we're really getting it.
We know how to play this game.
We've got this. We've definitely got this. I love the dialogue options. I also like the way that they do the co-op, in that if your character's having a conversation with someone, then the other person can come over and there's an option to listen in. Like eavesdrop, cool. Basically. Yeah, it's nice. That's a really cool way of doing it, rather than just having it pop up on the screen by default for everyone.
Gibbons, buddy. So yeah, Divinity, been playing that. Going to play a lot more of that in the future. So yeah, we'll probably talk more about that when we know more about it.
Definitely, yeah. Expect plenty of Divinity talk over the following weeks.
Gibbons, buddy. So go on then, talk about some games you've been playing.
I've been playing 2 games other than Hitman 2. I've been playing Celeste.
He loves Celeste.
Number 4 in my Game of the Year list.
Number 4.
and maybe it should have been higher. It would have been really hard to put it above Forza and Red Dead and God of War, having only played it for like 4 or 5 hours when I chucked it into my list. But
yeah.
I've doubled my time now. I think I've died 850 times or something in Celeste.
That's impressive.
It sounds awful, and I still don't. I think I'm starting to understand why I like this. I think it's all related to my sort of late 2018 epiphany that I had when it comes to the sort of games that I want to play at this point, the stuff that I want to give my time to going forwards versus the stuff that I was playing in the past. And I kind of went back through my list. You know, if you go back through your sort of download list, you can see everything you've sort of downloaded and played since you picked the console up. Mm-hmm. And it's just a complete shift. The sort of games that I'm playing now and the sort of games that I'm not playing, more crucially. I'm not buying the big AAA titles for the most part. I'm certainly not buying any that involve grinding or loot crates or microtransactions, really. I've switched from online football game to offline football game, regardless of which one it is. Lots of single-player experiences and also more sort of retro-esque sort of stuff as well, because I just feel like it reached breaking point in the industry where it's not even worth thinking about playing some of these games anymore. They've pushed so far, and I think I'd forgotten why I loved video games, and I feel like I've found it again. And Celeste is a perfect example. This is such a fucking great game. I'm not going to go on about it for ages again, because I did it on the Game of the Year show last week. But it's so good. It's one of the greatest platformers I've ever played. They keep introducing more mechanics. The presentation is spectacular here, as is the music and the characterization, like something that you wouldn't even expect a platformer to have. Like I plowed lots and lots of time into Rayman, sort of in 2014 maybe, but I was still kind of a mind to kind of achievement hunt at that point. I played a lot of that game after I'd completed it to just get like the platinum on there. Yeah. Whereas this is just, I'm not playing it for any of those reasons. I'm playing it because it's fucking brilliant and punishingly hard.
Yeah, I was going to say, has it got any kind of mechanics like on the levels where you can like 3-star them, or is it just a case of get through the level?
It's got these power-ups you can get that are just strawberries. But because each section of a level is a static screen, and then whatever's going on in there is kind of like the puzzle. So you find maybe you're on the main track going through the levels, and then maybe you'll find some little offshoot or something. You can shimmy up a wall and sneak into another area. Yeah. You'll find these strawberries. They'll be hovering somewhere in the particular sort of screen that you're working on at the time, and you have to collect them and then get out of there, or you know, if you have to go from left to right, you got to pick it up on the way through and keep it until the end, at which point it clicks and you've got it. You can't just grab it, fall into the spikes and respawn kind of thing. So it comes up with messages between different stages that in the form of postcards that are being sent to your character while she's climbing this mountain, Celeste Mountain, and it's all sort of stuff that's for the player. So it's kind of you know, if you keep dying, then like take a break. You can stop at any moment. It will save you exactly where you are. And then to do with the strawberries, it came up. It says there's absolutely no reason to collect these. So if you'd like a challenge, then feel free, but don't worry about them, and certainly don't get stuck somewhere because you're trying to get a fucking strawberry. Like, the game knows what it is. It knows that it's hard, but it's also pretty merciful in the way that it's designed.
Yeah, and you can play it in different ways in a way.
I just think it's so well rounded, and the controls are so good. That obviously that's like absolutely crucial on a game that's punishingly difficult. You know, you're maybe going to come across one screen of a level and die like 12, 13 times. That it has to be streamlined and it has to control perfectly. It has to be your fault that you're fucking it, and you have to feel like you can improve and get better. And that's something that it does better than I think any game that I've played. Is the first the point that I'm at, I think I'm on chapter 5. I think there's 8 chapters. This has also got that sound shapes mechanic, by the way, where you can collect tapes and play B-sides of all the levels, and the levels are like remixes of the ones that you've played in the past. So that's great. And at the end of each chapter, you've got your chapter and your B-side chapter and collectibles in both, so you can go through if you want to pick them up. But it's just the way that it sort of handholds in text and stuff and lets you gradually get better. It just does. I don't find it frustrating, and I don't know why. It should be really frustrating, but there's stuff I'm doing in chapter 5 that I couldn't have fucking dreamt of in the previous chapters, like amazing feats of dexterity. And it's got that Portal thing where Portal did it with puzzles, and this does it with like platforming, basically, where you feel once you get it, it was so hard but completely fair, and you just feel like a god. That's what it does. You just feel like the fucking best. So many clever design decisions. You know, there was a level I was playing through last night where this is, I suppose, a little spoiler. It's just a specific mechanic in the game, but it couldn't. It didn't tell me that I could move these platforms. So I was jumping on these platforms. They've got an arrow on them. When you jump onto it, it'll move along the screen in the direction that the arrow is pointing until it meets a wall or a block or an obstacle, and then it'll sort of crumble, and you got to be off it within a second of that, or you'll die. And it gave me this impossible level with a strawberry at the top, and I spent a good 20 minutes trying to get up there, and eventually learn, no, there's no way up there. Like, I can't, with what I've been given at this point, there's no way up there.
Okay.
And then about, I don't know, 15 minutes later into the level, I entered another room with these moving panels, with the arrows on them. And the way that room had been designed, I couldn't see any way of doing it, and I was trying to look up to see this gap in the ceiling, because it looked like the only way out. And when you look up, when you're standing on the platform moves up. And then it clicked, and I was like, okay. And then I could move the platform by looking in different directions. And when you complete that room, it drops you back into the room you were struggling on with that first original panel and lets you do it. And it's just
nice.
That's it's
cool.
great.
Yeah.
It's sort of, you can take it two ways. You can take it like Dark Souls punishing, you know, when it greets you with an enemy that you can't beat without like learning, or you can treat it like that's just fantastic game design. It was so satisfying, and I was like, the sort of it waited long enough before dropping me back into the original room where I was like, fuck, I could have got that strawberry really easily, and now you're back in that room and you can.
Yeah.
So it's I love this game. I absolutely love it. It's fucking brilliant, and it's just a 2D platformer, but it's awesome, and it makes me wonder about previous 2D platformers that I didn't maybe give the time that I should. Lots of which have been in PS Plus and are readily available for me to re-download and install.
Well, there you go, buddy. There's something to do.
There you are.
Nice.
The only other one I've been playing this week, and I've only played it very briefly. I just wanted to sort of play the first half hour or so just to get a feel for it and see if much had changed. And that's Life is Strange 2 Episode 1, which hit Xbox Game Pass this week.
Yeah, it did.
So, because of course, you know, or you could buy it for sort of 16 quid on the PlayStation, buddy. It's entirely up to you, really. So,
it is your call.
It's your call. So, this seems more of the same. I know for a fact that the powers are different. Certainly all the characters are different. There doesn't seem to be any crossover from the last game, although at the beginning of Life is Strange 2, it gives you the opportunity to choose some of the decisions you'd made. This is something that really annoyed me on another game that I've played recently, and I can't remember which one it was. but it was a game that I'd completed on the PS4, and I loaded it up on Xbox One, and there was nothing talking to anything else there, so it didn't know any of the decisions that I'd made in the previous game.
Yeah.
But this gives you the option it gives you sort of, a couple of questions like, did you do this in the last game?
What happened here? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So it can kind of make up your story from those decisions, in a way.
Yeah, they were the important ones. They were probably the only ones that the game was programmed to make an actual difference anyway. Yeah. So that was quite a nice touch. Every single time I play one of these Don't Nod games from Square, they absolutely nail the mood, and they've all been kind of set at different periods, but like Life is Strange, when it kicks in, you've got like Cross's Jose Gonzalez, and she's going along in like a bus and stuff. It just nails these little sort of cutscene moments with the perfect soundtrack. It's so cool. Like there's only ever sort of 4 or 5 songs in these games, but they're all brilliant, like just completely on point, like making the mood. That Captain Spirit had a couple of Sufjan Stevens songs in it. That was cracking as well. And they've done it again here. Like the beginning, the intro of this, you're kind of vaguely introduced to a couple of the characters, and going along in a school bus on his way home, and it just like kicks in with Listomania by Phoenix, which is a French band that I really like and a song that I really like. This game's kind of set around sort of 0203, so it's basically our wheelhouse for when we were sort of 18 and basically like
way too much into music.
Yeah, at our most passionate about music. So,
yeah, I'd say so.
I'm looking forward to the surprises that this has in store for me.
Nice.
I haven't really got into. I know that there's going to be this big set piece that kind of. This is supposed to be a kind of a road movie-esque kind of vibe, due to the fact that the characters that you're playing as have to run away after a big event. So I'm kind of waiting for that to happen. And at this point, it's very sort of teen movie. A kid's going to the party. I've already been offered like a fag and was asked if I wanted to have a smoke of it or whatever. So yeah, it's very much on point with the last game, and I'm not expecting it to be massively different, but their world building is really strong. And again, I don't think that this game is for me, but it doesn't really matter anymore. I just enjoy it. And
there you go. That's games.
The millennial shit just doesn't really seem to bother me quite so much as it did before.
Nice.
And that's a testament to Life is Strange. That game. And
that's why you
love
played Need for Speed so much, buddy.
Give us. So yeah, fucking play Celeste. Everybody play Celeste.
I will get it installed at some point.
I need to know whether I'm mental.
No, I don't think you are. I mean, it's
I'm
had
not.
ridiculous praises from multiple gaming outlets and stuff, and it's one of those games where you just want to play one more kind of thing. I just
that's
do
the
that
thing.
One more. The only thing that I think that it relates to with me was like Trials HD when that came out. Like I was constantly just doing like, I'll just do one more run. No, quick restart, do it again, restart, do it again, restart, do it again. I can do that a bit better, restart, do it again. And
yeah.
Even if it's a case of like, like the first time I went through Trials HD and completed like the fucking stupid extreme tracks where I failed like 400 times in one go or whatever, like nearly hitting the maximum amount of fails. It's a case of I just really enjoy playing this game a hell of a lot because I get the controls. Like I understand how to do certain maneuvers how to maneuver the character around, like, or traverse and things like that.
It's knowing you can get there.
Yeah, exactly. And that sounds like what this game is. It's like you're learning new abilities and skills or whatever, like how to get around the environment. And that, like, for me, that sounds fucking cool because, I'm definitely one of those gamers where I'll be like, well, I can do that better, or this is really hard, but I know it's going to be awesome when I complete it, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got all of that shit, and also like clever dynamic effects with like weather and stuff. For example, I've just gone through a chapter where there's like a heavy sort of winds, so you can suddenly jump much further in one direction. And from screen to screen, maybe the wind will change strength and direction. So it's constantly switching up. You go through 3 screens where you're really like struggling into the wind, and your character Madeline's sort of really struggling to move. You're having to use like the dash just to make small jumps. Yeah. And then you finally get across that level, and then the wind reverses completely in the other direction, and you've got 3 or 4 screens where you're fucking flying across from one end to the other in like one jump because of the wind like behind you. It's fucking brilliant. Anyway, I must stop. Talk to me about Hitman 2, buddy, because I've played through the first 2 levels. So I think I spent about half an hour on the first level, and accidentally hid in the panic room that the target came and ran into. Which was so satisfying. She came and locked herself in with me. I didn't even have to do anything. And then that level with the Grand Prix race going on. I spent a good sort of hour and a half pottering around there with the sort of tutorial stuff turned off, just kind of getting a feel for it, and the fucking size. That's what I did. The size of it. Mental. Oh, yeah. It's a playground.
That first mission, getting loaded onto the beach, and then you have to infiltrate just like a beach house. And I was like fucking stealthing about, going like, and then realised, there's no one here.
I did the same.
Like, okay. Yeah, cool. And then obviously shit hits the fan. But by that point, I'd like gone through the entire house. I knew where like everything was that I wanted to do. Like you say, finding the panic room and stuff like that. I'd done that, and I was like, okay. And I think I spent about half an hour on that first level getting through it, which was cool. Really enjoyed it. It was nice because it kind of just got me back into the flow, get the buttons down, like how to change weapons and whatever. And
perfect tutorial, isn't it?
It was fantastic. It was absolutely
good story as well.
Like,
much better, stronger story better this time.
Yeah. And then the Grand Prix level, I spent 2 hours on that level. Just walking around, finding everything. It was mint. I killed the woman race car driver in such a stupid way. So I got into her pit crew and slowly took them out one by one. So there was no pit crew in there. It was just me. And then I just hid behind like a box, and she comes in with like one of her entourage, some woman. I just throw a wrench at that woman, and then I just so she gets knocked out on the floor, and this other bird, like the race car driver, doesn't even know anything. So I go and choke her out, and I'm like, oh, I want to kill her in a fun way. And also, whilst walking around, I'd noticed like other things that I could do. So I dragged her over to where the race car was. I punctured like the oil can, and then started a battery, and then she just died on fire. And it was like, it was an accident. I'm like, yeah, it was. Definite accident.
That's again one of the best things about Hitman, and obviously Hitman 2 as well, is it's not in any way like real life, but it does have a set of rules. It's like another reality with a set of rules, and once you learn them, you can just make the most ridiculous shit happen.
It's so funny. And then for the second target, the dude, I got up into his area or whatever where he is, and then there's some kind of automated like AI robot that shoots a gun, and is targeted onto whatever you scan on it. And so I was like walking around for half an hour trying to find like his ID badge or something, so I could be like, oh yeah, I can use this to shoot him. I got bored by that point and just pushed him off a ledge. And then it was like, yeah, you can exit the level. So I went up to the roof, looked around, and found a photo of him up there. And I was like, I know where the photo is now. So I loaded back into a previous save, ran up there, got the photo. I was like, yeah, you're going to die this time, fucker. Put the photo on it. It's like,
nice. That's far better than how I killed him. I was just hanging around in a toilet, not really knowing what the fuck to do.
Nice.
And accidentally hit the action button near the tap and basically clogged up the sink so that it overflowed.
Yeah.
And he just happened to be walking past with his body. He just happened to be the closest person at that time. He just came into the bathroom, and I just hit him and then broke his neck and then walked away. Just left him in a puddle.
That'll do.
So underwhelming, but
it's beautiful.
Still satisfying.
And then, I've played... I must have played about an hour and a half of the next level. I've killed one of the dudes by... firstly, I did it by being a tattoo artist and going through like the story mission thing, because I was like, oh, I'll see where this goes. And it was quite funny. But then I was like, that's not good enough though. So obviously loaded back into a previous save and found an area where there's a fish tank and, there's a wire that you can fuck about with. So fucked about with the wire, waited for him to walk past, overflowed the fish tank, and he's like, just fucking electrocuted him to death. It was brilliant. I loved it. And that's the thing about this game. Like, there's so many different things to do, and the maps are even bigger now. It is ridiculous.
They're vast, aren't they? Like,
absolutely insane.
And that's the thing. I think we both did exactly the same thing. We got let loose on that racetrack level, and we both spent a long time just wandering around. I wasn't even looking for opportunities or anything necessarily, but I was just trying to get the lay of the land.
I was just walking around. I found myself in the toilet, and there was a VIP pass in there. I was like, oh, thank you very much. I'll have that. And then went into the VIP lounge. I was like, cool. Didn't know that was there. But that's the thing. Like, there's stuff dotted around these maps all over the place. And if you just go out and look around them, you'll start finding incredibly cool stuff. Like in the race one, like when I first loaded in, I didn't know that I could go past the first barrier. So I'm like fucking looking around. I go into the underpass where that like the guy's playing the music, and he's got a coin in his hat, and I'm like, can I take that? I mean, I felt bad. But I took it because I didn't have anything to throw on the floor. So then when I completed the level, I ran on my way out. I saw him then. I threw a coin in his hat. And he was like, what's this? I'm like, what? Is this not what you expect? You wanted money, so I've just given you a penny back,
I took his didgeridoo personally, but nicely done.
Yeah. Because I got the Silent Assassin on one of the elusive targets on the original Hitman. Not original, but Hitman, whatever it is, last one.
2015, yeah.
Yeah, I got awarded some like super duper coins. Like they're like super audible or whatever, I don't know. But I was like, yes, my favourite thing in the game, and they've like given me super ones. So every time I'm loading in now, I always take my super coins. It's a bit cheaty, but I earned that.
That was really cool as well, how when you load into the race one, you have to stash something somewhere. You basically can't go in with anything. That's like quite cool. I liked that.
You can't do anything. It's like
it's cool. And again, like proper funny, the dialogue from all the NPCs and stuff. There's so many like classic things that some of them say. It's really good.
It's like there's a woman like recording like an interview or whatever in front of a camera. So obviously, being polite, I walked around him and I was like, fuck that. So I just immediately walked in front of her, going backwards, and she was like, am I not invisible? And I was like, fuck you. Yeah, like, I feel like this would have definitely made my top 5 now, unfortunately. But hey, it is what it is. But then again, it's still Hitman, like they've improved it with the shrubbery and crowd blending abilities better now, which is cool. But still, at the end of the day, I'm playing it pretty much exactly how I used to play the previous Hitman. But I think it's just the fact that I've got 6 more levels. If I wanted to, I could go back and play the original 6 levels. There's the ghost mode now that we haven't played. Which I definitely think we need to play the multiplayer version of Hitman. That sounds crazy.
It does sound fun, yeah.
And there's also the Sniper Assassin game mode on there as well, and that's also co-op. So that's another thing that like I really want to have a look at. Yeah.
It's a very strong package, and if you didn't play the first game, then it's the ultimate fucking. I think I'm with you though. I think it would have missed out on my list, and that's just because it's just more of the same, and it's and more of the same is brilliant, and I'm really enjoying it. But I don't think I would have had the heart to keep another game that's trying to do something different off of my top 5 because of this. But at the end of the day, our lists are fairly arbitrary anyway, and this is fucking brilliant fun. So yeah, great purchase for a great price as well, worth the wait. And
Gibbons,
fucking cool, great game.
Gibbons, buddy.
So yeah, there's several recorded streams on our various platforms of Ash playing, and I'm sure we'll be doing some more streaming of that. Maybe we'll stream that Ghost mode at some point. That could be quite a fun
definitely.
thing to
That'd
do.
be funny as hell.
Yeah, and you expect to hear more about that in coming episodes, buddies. And now it's time for the news. Number one. The UK game sales are now 80% digital. This is from figures rounded up at the end of 2018 for the year of 2018. So to say that only 20% of sales are now physical in the UK. That's, I don't know. I think that does surprise me. I thought that more people were still buying physical copies, especially because of the slashes and reductions that supermarkets in this country tend to make. And I suppose CEX with its sort of second-hand market as well. I know that it makes a great deal of sense for us to buy digitally because of family sharing reasons.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily make sense for most other people. Having said that, the speed at which full price games hit sale at this point is like 3 to 4 weeks, and that's probably why this is happening, I would say. Because
I would say so, yeah, definitely.
When this console cycle launched, a new game came out, it might not go down in price for 9 or 10 months, and now annual fucking franchises are going down within a month. Like it's bizarre, and also kind of odd. Like the industry going on about how they don't have enough money to support themselves, so they include all these DLC microtransactions, loot boxes and stuff, and then voluntarily and readily reduce the price of their games by up to sort of 60-70% within a month of them launching.
Yeah, obviously it just means more people have got those games, which means more people are going to put money into those games.
And that's the real story. That's the real truth, not the one that the industry is telling you.
And for me, I'm fine with that. Fuck it.
Yeah, because we aren't interested in microtransaction bullshit anyway, and all it means is that we're getting games cheaper. So
finally, buddy, there's some fucking light at the end of the tunnel.
Givens, yeah. I mean, for someone who's willing to wait a month after the launch of a title, games have never been cheaper in their history than they are right now. At a time when, obviously, due to inflation, everything should be the most expensive it's ever been. And meanwhile, we're spending a maximum of £35 on brand new titles, or within a month or so, when it used to cost 70-80 quid to buy an N64 cartridge.
Yeah, so it's crazy. Absolutely,
it's nuts. Crazy. And it hopefully, I think as things continue, we're probably likely to. I think we were fairly diligent with our cash this last year gone, and I think that we'll have a better opportunity now. Things have sped up in terms of reductions, to pick up more titles this year in 2019. So. The actual figures: UK industry generated £3.86 billion in 2018.
Damn.
And 3.09 billion of that was digital. So 750 odd million of it was physical. Overall revenue is up 9.1% year on year. So that's great news. The industry's growing by almost 10% a year. That's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
less impressive was the best-selling entertainment product in the UK in 2018. Often an album. I think Adele picked this up several years on the bounce. This year it was The Greatest Showman, that musical thing starring Hugh Jackman, which sold 2.6 million copies DVD / Blu-ray. So
that's crazy.
There were lots of, I don't know what the deal was with that film.
Great Christmas present for people that you don't like.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, I saw like stuff on the news like late last year of people going to the cinema to see it 10 times. They're having like sing-along parties and stuff. Sad pricks, if you ask me. They can fuck
Sounds
right
ace
off.
to me.
Quite like old Jackman, but I certainly didn't want to watch him prancing about in a top hat. So
Gibbons, but
I would have watched it had, you know, the Wolverine claws perhaps entered the fray halfway through, but that wasn't on the cards. He was they were just doing songs. So
I need to just jump in here, buddy, with a quick news for everything of the week while we're on the topic of UK game sales. Did you know that games now account for over half of the entire UK entertainment market?
Fucking hell, that's
so that's films and music put together. Games trumps it, buddy.
That's something, isn't it?
Mate, games, they're amazing.
Yeah,
best thing ever.
But it's just like sad fucking geeks that play games, though, isn't it? So
no, now that Drake says it's cool, buddy, it's cool.
There's a lot of people keeping quiet about the fact that they play video games, it seems. But
there you go. I mean, I could throw some stats at you, but I'm not going to.
Okay.
Because I don't know.
Thank you for that one stat, though, buddy. It was hard hitting enough to not need any other stats.
That's it, mate. That's what I do. One and done.
One and done. Like cock push-ups.
Yeah, that's all you
need one. Just one. Number 2, moving on. Lego Lord of the Rings games, all of them, have been removed from all storefronts.
Weird.
It's also been confirmed by Warner that they will not be returning to the storefronts.
Luckily, I have both.
Anyone who had already played or bought those games, they can play those games still. But it sounds like a licensing thing, doesn't it? Yeah,
it was that and the Hobbit, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah. It sounds like some sort of licensing issue. Lots of companies had lots and lots of fingers in that pie. When it comes to the Hobbit, I think there were 5 different like global film companies involved. So you can imagine the license agreement for those games was an absolute nightmare. And it sounds like one way or another, some things come to an end that they were unable to renew, didn't want to renew, didn't want to spend the cash. So,
and the case is obviously they're not on the store, but if you have purchased them, you can still download them again. Which is fucking lucky, I guess.
I guess so, yeah. But it's kind of weird. It doesn't happen often. Alan Wake was the last sort of big case of this, where the license agreements for the soundtrack ran out, so they had to remove it from sale. They eventually resolved things and added it back to the store, but it doesn't sound like that's on the cards with this one. But
no.
There you go. So there you go. Next, we're talking of Hitman. Obviously, we've both been tucking into Hitman 2 this week and really enjoying it. Hitman Absolution and Hitman Blood Money remastered were announced last week, literally like a day after we did the podcast, and they're coming out this week. In fact, they should be on your respective store now. So PS4 and Xbox, I don't know how much they are. They're probably launching tomorrow when I record this, but they should be on the stores for you now. And I played a bit of Absolution. I didn't play any Blood Money, but didn't you guys have one of them when we first got the 360? I vaguely remember. Certainly I remember PJ and the Funk talking about it at some point.
I'm going to say I played through Blood Money. I think that was the one with the achievement where you had to get 47 kills in a level. Nice. I did that. That was always fun. I got Absolution with my graphics card like 7 years ago. I played through the whole thing. It was good. But it wasn't like, I don't know, it went very like linear kind of in a way. Like, I can understand Blood Money getting a remaster because, you know, it was like the classic Hitman kind of style. But Absolution, I'm not too sure about that. But obviously they're just trying to make more money, so why not?
Yeah. Can't remember which of the two that I played. I mean, before that, I did play Hitman 2 quite extensively on the PC. Yeah. That was a long time ago. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know if they'll still be fun to play. I think that IO have done such a great job of rejuvenating this series. It's kind of like canon now, the new series, and I don't know how many people will necessarily want to go back. But it's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Like, it's occasionally a remaster comes along, and you're like, did anyone really want that? I mean, I'm not complaining, I suppose, but it's what you've said in the past, buddy. Like, studios constantly working on shit when they could be making new games, but that's the world we live in. So there we are.
That is the world we live in, buddy.
Gibbons, moving on. Nintendo president Shuntaro Furukawa says Nintendo aren't fixated on consoles. That's a direct quote. We aren't fixated on consoles. Sure. And he says they may move away from the hardware. I don't really know what he means by that. He could be alluding to the idea that they'd go... Well, yeah, but why would you go strictly handheld when you've essentially released a handheld console, but one that you can plug into the TV? I mean, unless you think in like a smart TV system where you just cast, maybe that would work. But you've still got to plug this thing in to charge it. Yeah, that would be fucking
terrible, though, because it's Nintendo. And they don't even understand the internet.
No, they've no idea what it even is. They've been looking for the source of it for many years. It's... I don't know what he means by that. I mean, he talks about some stuff in this interview. I think it was with the Japanese version of Nintendo Life or a similar sort of first-party magazine over there. But he was talking about... He mentioned movies and theme parks. I know that they've been kind of pushing hard on getting sort of Mario out into theme parks and stuff.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Stuff in Dubai and absolutely. They've got those IPs, so I suppose they could do whatever they want with them, you know. And he also mentioned mobile games, so monetizing their IPs with more mobile games.
What was it? Super Mario Run, wasn't it? The first one? I mean, I've got it.
They had a stake in Pokemon as well, so you know that's. But I don't know. I mean.
What's the other one? Animal Crossing, is it, or something? That's
they had.
I think that's a mobile game for that, but apparently it was wank.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what to make of this. It doesn't really affect me very much. I was never going to pick up a Nintendo console anyway. But it's the lack of support for their consoles that would stop me ever buying one. I'm not willing to pick up a console that across a 6-year lifespan only has 100 games for it, and exactly. That's their big problem. Even if those are 100 games that I can't maybe play anywhere else, that's still not going to do it for me.
It's not worth it, really, is it? Unless you can get it on the cheap.
And if you've got kids, then obviously it makes massive sense as well.
Yeah, true.
So interesting quotes from him. I mean, he was kind of... Interesting that he was speaking to a Nintendo magazine as well. This isn't like a scenario where he's talking to like shareholders and trying to appease them and make sure that their profits are kind of going to be on the rise for years to come. This is a fucking gaming magazine he was talking to, and he was basically coming out saying they might stop making consoles.
Yeah, it's crazy that, isn't it? Like, well, sure. I doubt it very much, though.
Yeah, who can say? But interesting all the same. Few more little bits from me. Fox teases new Alien game featuring Amanda Ripley, the star of Alien Isolation, which reviewed relatively well, but we certainly didn't expect to see any more of, and played Ripley's daughter, basically, in that. A few days later, they reveal Alien Blackout, which is a terrible name considering Call of Duty, and also, surprise, it's a mobile game. So obviously they weren't watching Blizzard's press conference a few months back. So everyone was then fucking furious, and obviously. Fox has responded today, I believe, saying, we're making other Alien games as well.
But we're trying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so,
whatever.
Okay, kind of fucked the bed there. But yeah, so Alien Blackout is going to be a mobile game, and as such, probably to be ignored. And take a hardline stance now. I don't care anymore. Like,
no, I think you're right.
Shutting up shop on several issues. This is one of them.
Mobile games are wank. We know this. Like,
fuck off. Yeah, I'm not interested. it's just not interested. Don't care. Not interested. Even if it's good, fuck you. Next, Robot Entertainment announces that Hero Academy, Hero Academy 2, and Orcs Must Die Unchained are all shutting down. These games will basically be turned off in April. And they all require full online access at all times, so you won't even be able to play them anymore. And that's it. No. They're dead.
It's a shame. I mean, I really enjoyed Orcs Must Die, probably too much for what that game actually had to offer.
Yeah, they were the first. I loved the first two games, and the second, when it went free to play, I was very disappointed. We still managed to wring some enjoyment out of that, but the reason that they've cited for shutting these down is financial. The studio claims that the games have been running at a great loss for months now, and they can't afford to sustain them any longer. I just can't help but think that you probably shouldn't have fucked your difficulty curve and monetization then. And also, the reason they cost so much to sustain is because of that always live, always online thing, because of the constant support for microtransactions. Like, if you'd just released that game for £30
and had a P2P connection, no one would give a fuck.
No one would have given a fuck. It doesn't need a dedicated connection.
It doesn't.
And then you don't have to support it at all. And that thing's still going into sales 2-3 years into the future, and you're still making on it. So. Yeah. It comes across greedy to me, the fact that they did that. I mean, I know that they were struggling for publishers, and that's one of the reasons that people go down this route of free to play, of course. But yeah, it's not really. It just wasn't really good enough. The difficulty curve on Unchained, and it was really grindy. We played it for the first maybe 6, 7, 8 levels, and then it became essentially impossible unless you grinded those same levels 100 times to get the traps required.
I did a fair bit of that, going back and 5-starring them all, and then doing some of the daily challenges or whatever, the bullshit they put in there, just because I was enjoying the game at the time. But even after doing that, I was still getting fucked over, and I was like, you know what? I've had my time with this. It's been fun, but that's it. I can't get any further now.
Can't get any further without opening your wallet. We gave them £9 each. It's worth noting, if that game had been 25 quid on the store, we would have bought it.
So buy it. Yeah.
I'm not saying that we're the average in terms of the customers that they possibly would have had or not had there. What I'm saying is, if you'd have put that game out for money, we would have paid for it. And instead, you put it out for free with a tethered infrastructure you had to support that you no longer can afford to, and now it's dead. So perhaps lessons to be learned. The studio is currently working on 2 new games, they say. Maybe try selling them. Maybe that would be a good idea. That's
probably a good idea.
Just kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah. Well.
Couple more things from me, buddy. The Resident Evil 2 remastered demo is now live on the Xbox Store and PlayStation Store. It's 30-minute timed, meaning that you start the demo, there's 30 minutes of playing time, and when the demo is over, you can't play it anymore.
Brilliant.
Seems like a publicity stunt, I suppose. I remember the Resi demo of... Was it Resident Evil 2 or was it Code Veronica on the Dreamcast? It was one of the two, and that was timed as well. You could only play it for 15 minutes, but you could play it forever. You could keep playing it.
Yeah.
This is half hour, one and done. So
it's not like that Yakuza one or whatever it was, when you could play it for an hour and then for some reason you could just keep playing it.
Yeah, Sega forgot to turn whatever feature it was that stopped it from working
people
anymore.
Started unlocking achievements and trophies or whatever for it. It was funny that. It was good. Oh, well.
Yep. Just a talking point, I think. I'm not sure why else they'd do that with the remaster. And finally, every gaming site on the internet is going on about FIFA Ultimate Team's Team of the Season. These are incredibly rare cards of players that are incredibly high statted. It's incredibly overpowered. The odds are absolutely terrible, like 0.2% or something.
Yes.
And YouTube is littered with videos of people who are spending loads of money opening packs. And
of course.
All of the media publications are listing various examples of people who've spent thousands of pounds and tweeted about it. And I do not care about any of it. I don't care. I don't care about any of that at all. In keeping with my late 2018 epiphany, buddy, and hard line against things I don't want to even discuss anymore because I'm so bored of it. I no longer care about loot crates and microtransactions because if I see that they're in a game at this point, I just won't buy that game because it won't be a complete game. It won't be a compelling game. It won't be a rewarding game that I can get a lot of fun out of. So to me, I don't care anymore about any of this stuff. But it does strike me that perhaps it's FIFA, it's EA Sports maybe cashing in massively one last time before they finally get clobbered by the various powers that be across the globe. We'll see on that one, but I don't really give a fuck. And if people want to chuck their money at trading cards that last less than a year and are digital, then I think fine. I think maybe the world will be a better place if those people have less money to fucking burn anyway. So that's how I feel about it, buddy.
Nice. Well, I like it.
There you go. So that's it for me, buddy. That's my news. I think it's time to hand over to you. I know that you kind of tempted us with a little tidbit earlier from your news favourite things, but
taste.
I think I'll hand over to you, buddy, for my favourite section. I'm sure the listeners as well, and that, of course, is Ash's news favourite things of the week.
If you like news but hate information, you have found the right place. Ash's news favourite thing of the week.
Cheers, buddy. Yeah, quite a few things this week because they've all kind of been saved up over Christmas and whatnot. So I've literally just gone through it and deleted a load of crap because I was like, that's pointless. That's wank. Who cares about that? So yeah, let's go for it. RetroArch. That emulation software thing that I've got on the Switch. It's really good. It does it all. It's coming to Xbox One, buddy.
Yeah, and there's lots of noises coming out of the industry because this seems to be something that's kind of spreading now to other consoles, talking about like intense ways people can be prosecuted for misusing this software and stuff. Lots of scaremongering coming out during the announcement from RetroArch that they're branching out onto Xbox. But
I like it.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, it has to be in developer mode. Obviously, with your Xbox, that's something you can do because they're like, yeah, who needs a dev kit? Just use your Xbox, which was a fucking great idea from them, I think, to be honest.
Yep.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Anthem has said that there's not going to be a season pass. Just get the game was the tag that they sent. So that's kind of cool. It's just all there for you.
Yeah.
And then pay money for whatever loot boxes and whatever, you know.
Yeah, kiss goodbye to there being a decent amount of content in that game then.
Yeah.
Because they'll drip feed that.
Indeed they will.
with microtransactions.
It's a game as a service or whatever, isn't it? Anyway,
it looks that way. Yeah.
The next Assassin's Creed game name might have been leaked. Assassin's Creed Adder. There you go.
Oh shit.
And it might be a sequel to Origins, which was set in Egypt or T-Egypt or wherever it is.
That's only like 2 games ago, isn't it? I don't know, it's hard to keep track.
Yeah, Odyssey was there was this year's or last year's one.
Right.
And Origins was the one before. So there you go.
Is that still like selling really well, that game? Like,
I think so. It got really good reviews, didn't it? Odyssey, I believe.
Made a lot of top 10 lists at the end of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a great year for games last year, so that could be why. I don't know.
Maybe.
Or I just didn't play any because I thought they were all shit.
Yeah, add that to the list of things we don't give a fuck about. But interesting to hear like where it's going next and stuff.
Yeah, VR doubled on Steam in 2018, so that's kind of cool. VR's on the up and up, which is nice. A lost version of SimCity on the NES emerged 27 years later.
Man.
Which is mental.
Well, what a legacy Max has left behind.
Yeah, there you go. This is quite a big one, I would say, for PC gamers. The Division 2 big game, anticipated game, whatever's coming out. Coming out on PC, obviously. And they have decided to only release that game on the Epic Game Store and obviously Uplay. No one cares about Uplay, but they are cutting out Steam.
Yeah, man, they're starting to take a real hit now, because Steam, it's been such an issue with Steam because of the sheer volume of like shovelware on there. Yeah. But at least they had these big contracts with big like publishers,
like AAA games. So this is like the first AAA title to really like not jump ship, but like be like, fuck you, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Bethesda doing it as well. Like they're jumping like it's crazy, but it's complacency, isn't it, from Steam, from Valve? Like
I would say so, but I think the big thing here is like the Uplay. They're not just releasing Division on Uplay. They are using another store apart from their own. Whereas obviously like Bethesda have got their own storefront, haven't they? The Bethesda Net, is it? I can't remember.
Yeah, I mean,
and then I think Blizzard one and shit or whatever.
Epic are just using all that Fortnite money to just chuck it at publishers, get them on board, because they really could crush Steam.
Yeah,
and really I know Valve have got like all the money in the world, but they've proven through years of complacency that they just don't know how to run a good store, and they don't care. So it's interesting, especially when you keep hearing these noises about Valve. Maybe they're going to be making lots of games again, lots of VR titles. Perhaps you could end up with this funny shift where one store gets bigger, the other one gets smaller, and one company stops making games and the other one starts again. It's weird, but
or just keeps pumping out Fortnite emotes and shit. Either or.
Yeah.
Right, I've got two left. I don't know what one I'm going to end with. I think I'm going to end with that because that's the stupidest one. Now this is crazy in my mind. I don't know. I thought you would have seen. You must have seen this or anything. But Slightly Mad this week, the game company behind Project Cars. CEO of that, I think his name's Ian. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. Probably not.
He's an English dude, famous for getting drunk on live streams and shooting the shit about their games.
Yeah, it's Ace. This is the guy that loves video games. It's Ace.
Yeah,
and he's come out this week saying that Slightly Mad are creating a console that's going to compete with Xbox and Microsoft. Have you seen anything about this?
No, I haven't. I must have missed this for some reason. Okay. What's a proper next gen console?
Yeah. Let me just try and copy this. Fucking copy, you bastard. It's going to be called the Mad Console. I think Mad Box. Sorry. There you go. Just Google it. You'll see some images of it. It looks fucking weird as hell. It's like a vertical standing thing with like neon strips around it, and obviously the Slightly Mad Studio logo on it. He's saying it's gonna be running 4K. It's gonna have full VR games running 180 frames per second. No, sorry, VR in 120 frames per second. It's not gonna be out for like 2 years, but he's saying that it's gonna be fucking awesome. And also, they're saying if you want to develop games, here's our engine, go fucking nuts, kind of thing as well. It's completely mental. I don't really know. It must be true because it's been going on for a few days.
It's totally true because he's posting all about it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I just don't really understand any of it. I mean, the guy's famous for being outspoken and like just saying shit that kind of comes into his head. So I suppose pinch of salt to a degree. He obviously believes in this as a project.
There's there's all like design artwork for the console. Like he tweeted out, I think it was yesterday or the day before, how they went to a branding company to get like some slogans for it, and the slogan was absolutely fucking terrible. And he's like, if anyone comes up with a good slogan, you're going to get like 10 grand and free games for life. So I was like, yes, sweet. I'll put some fucking stupid slogans in there on Twitter. I was like, yeah, for the players or something. Whatever.
I mean, it's a lovely idea. I think that's why it's a feel good story, because obviously you want as much competition as possible, really. But logistically speaking, quite how a company the size of Slightly Mad, with no pedigree or history in hardware design, could actually manufacture anything that could, who's going to be making this? How are they going to make like tens of thousands of this thing? Like it just sounds like absolute bollocks to me. I hope it's true, and we should definitely keep following the story. But yeah, it just sounds mad, and I suppose that's the point, isn't it? They are slightly mad.
Yeah, like he's put like on his Twitter, you can see like images of like different design concepts of like design concept 4. Here's a design concept or whatever, and things like that of previous one, and so one of the taglines he's put is "You can rest your balls on a mad box." Apparently, there you go. That's, I mean, like, this is something I feel like I can get behind.
Absolutely, buddy. It's definitely something to follow. We'll keep you posted on the Mad Box. It's crazy.
Sorry, I'm just fucking going through some of these tweets. They're fucking retarded. They say apparently it's going to have a handle as well that you can carry.
Yeah, GameCube. He's asking for like cooling designs in one that I was looking. He was like,
"It's crazy.
This is kind of our idea for cooling. What do you think? How could you improve it?" It's just like brainstorming on Twitter for like a new console. It's
like, fuck it, why not? Like, it sounds cool. Like, it's going to be mental anyway.
Sounds like the makings of a car crash.
Yeah, I know, blatantly is, but it's always nice to see these things. It's going to be mental, whatever it is. Finally, buddy, man robs bank with Nez Zapper and duct tape. There you go. What a legend. This guy went in, obviously, with the old duck hunt Nez Zapper, just fucking duct taped up. Black duct tape all over it. And he's like, "Give me your money." Obviously, it didn't go well for him.
No, I'd imagine it wouldn't.
I mean, you got to have some balls to go in with one of them and just be like, "Give me your money."
That's a last minute, what have I got lying around the house sort of decision. That dude's not known for his planning.
It's either like finger in the pocket so it looks like a gun, or Nez Zapper with duct tape.
Yeah, possible third choice banana, but there's certainly nothing else going on there.
He was hungry though.
He had it on the way to the bank. Yeah.
So there you go, buddy. There's my news favourite things of this week.
What a penis. Thanks, buddy. That was your news. Before that, of course, was my news. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the news. And now it's time for Out This Week.
Let's take a look at some games coming out this week. Probably filled with microtransactions, loot crates, pay to win mechanics. Because fuck you all. Fuck you all. Fuck you all. Fuck you all. Buy our shit.
That's out this week, buddy. Games out this week. Golden release time. We're there.
Games are finally arriving. And of course, we've got February and March to look forward to, and they are fucking genuinely busy. We're not even taking the piss busy. Not quite the case yet with these, but what we do have is the following. We've got The Walking Dead, the final season, episode 3, Broken Toys. I haven't been following this because I don't care about it, but and also because I don't really like the idea of a company on its knees, people like trying to power through and sleeping under their desks and shit, trying to finish this game, then the whole company being liquidated, the higher-ups walking away with a tidy profit while loads of people lose their jobs, and then for some reason that game being completed anyway. So, fill your boots though. It's out on PS4, Xbox One, Switch and PC, and that's The Walking Dead, the final season, episode 3. We also have Yick, I don't know,
I'm going for that.
Looks like YIIK. It could be Y11K, but I quite like the way that I'm going to go with YIIK because it sounds like a stuttering Geordie. So
I think,
YIIK.
Is it not Y2K?
I don't want to even numerals. Think. No.
No?
Yes, it is, buddy. It's Y2K, a postmodern RPG.
Did I ruin that?
I wanted to kind of fixate on my Geordie thing for a little bit longer. In fact, we'll stick with that, shall we? So
I think so.
You might have heard that Y2K, a postmodern RPG, is coming to PS4, Switch, and PC this week. But it's actually called YIIK. How are you? It's a weird 90s RPG with so yeah, Yeek sounds more sort of Norse, like something out of God of War. Yeah, and the moral of the story is be careful with your numerals, I think. But
watch out, otherwise we will take the piss.
Yeah, looks like an interesting RPG. That sort of not sure, bit hipstery. Lots of colours, porno colours, lovely.
It's the best.
So there's that. We also have Ace Combat 7: Skies Unknown.
I just don't know what these skies are. Where are they?
What are these?
What are these skies? Multiple of sky.
I tell you, GeoGuessr would be a much tougher game if it was skies rather than roads and land.
That's true.
It would be skies. Is this sky in Africa? Does the sky move? It's tricky. Anyway, Ace Combat 7. Obviously, there's been loads of these. We've never taken any interest. Some of them have been quite good. But I'm thinking a long time ago, some of them have been quite shit, aka the last one. But I've been in the market for a flight sim for a while. They just never release any, unfortunately. The last good one was probably Blazing Angels, and that was a long time ago.
Hawks was okay.
Yeah, it was like was that more of a strategy sort of thing rather than... I don't know.
I can't remember. I remember the funk getting into that game, though.
Yeah, did that have voice commands over the
No,
headset?
that was End War.
End War, yeah, can never remember. I mean,
retarded.
The best flight sim game to come out for a long time is Ultra Wings on PSVR. And speaking of, and also the reason that I'm interested in this, because of course, this has PSVR of some description. I haven't quite got to the bottom of how much VR it has yet, and this is always the fucking thing with these PSVR games. You know, it says it's a VR game, and then it's a level that lasts 10 minutes. So
the menus
need to do
are
some
in
more.
VR.
Yeah, I mean, need to do some more like looking into it. It's a flight sim. It's actually reviewing reasonably well, and it looks quite nice. And yeah, it's coming to PS4 and Xbox One this week, so probably worth keeping an eye on, especially if you've got one of those headsets. And finally, Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes is a selection of Travis games. This is coming to the Switch. It is, I will now describe it in a sentence. It is a lightsaber Hotline Miami game with a shit art style and dropping co-op.
I mean, Hotline Miami had an art style.
Yeah, I mean, this looks more like if I tried to make Hotline Miami in basic Unity or Unreal Engine. I don't know. Maybe I'm being harsh. I only watched a few minutes of video footage, but
that's all you need, buddy, for an opinion.
Looked a bit toilet, but it looked like it played quite nice, and that's the main thing with these sort of top-down hack and slashes. And drop in, drop out co-op. It's quite nice. So that's something Hotline Miami could do with as well. So maybe they'll learn from Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes on the Switch. But either way, that game is out this week, along with those others, buddy. And that was out this week.
Yes.
Every week we end the show with questions and comments sent in by you. If you've got anything for us, just pop an email to the jfgpodcast@gmail.com or contact us on Facebook, Twitter, or at justforgamers.co.uk.
And now it's time for JFG Street Beat.
You got a question we want to know. Street Beat.
Facebook, Twitter, we're on them all. So hit us up and be on the show. The JfG Street Beat.
Street Beat.
We wanna know.
We'll get on the show.
Get on the show. And as is often the case recently, buddy, we're just going to use Street Beat here to announce the winner of the latest competition on the old gleam.io, which of course you can find on our website, www.thejfgpodcast.co.uk. You find that at the bottom there. You can enter the competition, see if you can win a game. And somebody who has won a game, this week's winner, winning themselves a copy of Forged Battalion, is Jennifer Bent. So congratulations, Jennifer, and you will be getting a code in due course. Thanks so much for entering. Thanks to it.
Darren Bent, do you reckon?
Probably Darren Bent's wife or daughter.
Yeah, I reckon so.
Wad rather than wag. So, yeah. Congratulations. You have won. You will receive a copy. Thanks as ever to our sugar daddy JJ for his Humble Bundle account.
As always.
And, more competitions on the way shortly. And thanks to everyone who entered.
Gibbons.
So I think that'll about do us, buddy, for episode 196. We're knocking on the door of the old 200.
200. It's on the way. How many weeks away is that?
4 weeks to think of what we're going to do for that.
What date's that? Let's have a quick look. Let's have a look at the calendar.
Get your calendar up.
7, 8, 9. That's 2 days before my birthday. Ooh. There you go. Good news, everybody.
That's cheeky, isn't it?
Yeah. Celebrate.
Fuck.
I mean, we'll put it up on my birthday. There you go.
Yeah, let's do that. That sounds like a plan.
On the Friday. That'd be nice. That'd be a good game night. I'm going to get shit-faced.
Yeah, you are. That's going to be sweet as the proverbial, I'd imagine.
Gibbons, buddy, as always. Oh, dear. Have you had a lovely time? I'm going to ask you the question.
I have had a lovely time. I think it's been a nice, cheeky show this evening, buddy. I've really enjoyed it.
Casual.
Feeling good. I don't think I've been drinking at quite the velocity my body deserved.
I've kept it down right now. I'm still getting over Christmas period. Seriously, I haven't been able to drink that much. It's been hard. I've had to really, force it down.
Push through. Yeah. It's not ideal, is it?
No, it's not. Yeah.
What can you do? What are we playing now?
I don't know. We could either play a bit of Hitman or Divinity. I reckon there are a couple of games that sound good to me.
Gibbons, buddy, I'm with you on those. So let's fucking go and do that, shall we? And get rid of all these bastards. So thanks so much for listening, everybody. And we'll be back next week, of course, as we always are, apart from the week before last, but we don't talk about that. Shush. We'll be talking about... frankly, next week I'm going to talk about Celeste. So prepare your butts.
I'll probably talk about Hitman.
There you go.
Enjoy that.
So that'll be similar to this. So if you liked this, then you'll definitely like that. And we'll see you there, buddies. Until then, I've been Alex. He has been Ash.
Goodbye.
Farewell. You've been listening to the JfG podcast with Ash and me, Alex. You can find us at www.thejfgpodcast.co.uk, where you'll also find our Discord and Street Beat if you want to get involved with the show. Our Facebook is /the JfG podcast, and our Twitter handle is @the JfG podcast. We're on all those video streaming sites too, buddies, from TubeTube to twitch.tv /the JfG podcast to mixer.com, aka beam.fucking-pro. We've got a PS4 community you can join. Just search the JfG podcast on there. And we're also on Google Plus if that is how you choose to live your life. Thanks so much for listening, buddies. We'll catch you next time.